What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview. So today we got a badass, as always, on the show. This is a second-time guest, repeat guest. This time, though, he was in Phoenix, and we had him come in the studio, and we're dropping some knowledge live on the show. So you guys will really enjoy this guest. He's a dude that loves life, has an amazing mindset, but also goes out there and gets massive results in his business. So before we dive into this interview, though, I want to plug our sponsors. So our first sponsor, Perfect Storm, which is a real estate specific software that goes out there and does massive lead gen, also great for branding, and it's a great all-around front-end website for your business. So that's at www.perfectstormnow.com. Our clients are generating anywhere from 34. We've had clients generating 200 leads in one single night without spending a penny. We coach you, we consult you, we teach you how to go out there and dominate it with that software. If you have a real estate website, you guys, that's in your business, that is not generating you massive amounts of leads, it's something that's absolutely critical, especially now that we're entering 2016 or in 2016, to have that massive web presence. So check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough going on right now. It's kind of annoying, so I apologize about that. Our second sponsor is my 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal coaching platform. I walk you guys through 13 total sessions, each session going for about 3 hours, where we go hardcore on everything that took me 11 years, $5.8 million in my real estate business, 60,000 hours to go out there and learn. We cram it in 90 days. So, once in a while I'll get comments of, well, Josh, you give so much free content. How would this differ from everything you give free? It doesn't compare. All this free stuff that you guys hear is great. But what we do in the boot camp is that on steroids times freaking 1,000. It's the deepest, most hardcore coaching platform, especially for the price that exists on the planet. We're doing 8 of those this year. So to learn more about that, go check out www.90daymastery.com. All right, you guys, let's dive on in today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview, where we interview straight up badasses all over the planet that are out there doing big things and dominating. So got a buddy in the studio today. Just flew in from Utah. He's a second-time guest, repeat guest, Colton Lindsay from Utah. Welcome to the studio, dude.
Thanks for having me. This is a sweet spread here, man. This is where I see it on YouTube, but now it's like real here. It's where the action happens.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, everybody that comes in here is always like, I expected it to be bigger. And I'm always like, those are words a dude never wants to hear. So, dude, so you flew in, you're hanging out here in Phoenix, enjoying the sunshine. Tomorrow I'm doing a big event with my coaching clients, and you're a guest speaker there and talking about a lot of things. Real quick, to those of you that are watching or listening to the show, we're going to have a link below. That is the first episode we did with Colton. So Colton's a top producing real estate agent up in Utah. He's a coach himself. This dude slays it. There's nobody that I've met that's better in the game at attacking FSBOs and expireds. So go watch that interview. And I'll go through and talk about how Colton built his business. But dude. So we were kind of having a conversation of dials and different things that you're doing right now, and kind of going into the message that you're going to bring tomorrow to my coaching clients. So let's dive into that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is, at the end of the day, there's really 2 things that matter. Well, I guess a third thing. The first thing is your inner game. Like, what is going on in here and in here? And if you can really just get that crisp down inside, then it boils down to how many appointments are you going to set and how many times are you going to present. You do that and get signatures. That is how simple this business is. And, you get it as a newer agent that gets into this business. They don't have a lot of money, true, right? And so it's like, how do I go start a business? Well, do I go run Facebook ads? I don't have money for that. Or do I go, put out some flyers, and they're just trying to figure out how to get deals. It boils down to how many people are you having conversations to. You can, I think probably my first year that I started actually having success, not just with FSBOs, but cold calling. I would just literally random cold call people. I probably did 20 deals my first year just cold calling randomly. So it's
so when you say random cold calling, though, because there's 2 reasons I find that agents or salespeople don't do their calls. One, just fear of failure, all of that. Yeah. But then even when they don't have the fear, they're like, dude, I just don't know what the hell to say. So I know now, you're crisp on the phone, you're good on the phone, but what were those first conversations like? What were you saying to get those 20 deals?
At first, dude, I was just stumbling. I didn't know what to say. And then I just came up with a simple phrase from my coaching program. Hey, just call and see if you're thinking of selling your house. Yep. And then I'd hear no all the time, right? No. And then I followed up with the question, well, do you have any plans of moving ever? And they were like, well, yeah, we're thinking about in like 6 months. I'm like, holy shit, it's like an emergency. Like, I got to get over there, right? And once they started saying yes or in 6 months, I realized I didn't know what to say at that point. Took me probably a few weeks to start understanding, okay, well, why are they moving? Where are they going? What's important? So where are you moving to? What takes you there? Hey, if you knew that by doing something now versus then you could save yourself a bunch of money, would you do it now or would you do it later? They're always going to say, hey, yeah, if we're going to save money, let's do it now. As realtors, I think agents have a tendency to want to sell on what the gains are. And that will get people like interested. But if you really want people to take action, you got to sell them what they're going to lose, right? If they're going to lose money, they are so much more apt to do something now. But if you say, hey, if you could make more money, they're like, yeah, maybe we will, maybe we won't. And then they wait. You kind of see what the difference is in that. Yep. So I just would start saying, hey, the people that said no, but they might be one day, I just started putting them into what I call People Farm. And I just started mailing to them when I started getting money, and I just started calling them every 60 to 90 days, and I just started going through this loop, and then the deals just started coming in. So
on that, you put somebody in that loop, and you're calling them every 90 days. What is the second call? Because you kind of already know a little bit of that. Is it that just a check-in? Is there anything that you need?
So, like the first couple ones, I'm just following up to say, hey, like right now the market's on fire, right? Which is a whole other topic. I think that this market cannot last like this much longer.
Yeah, we're 3 years away from a massive real estate
Seriously,
recession.
Right? So in our marketplace, the Wasatch Front, we sold more homes in 2015 than in 2006 in the peak. That just goes to show where we're at.
What's up there, dude? Like what's driving that there?
Low inventory, and we really do have a strong economy. A lot of people are coming into Utah, and there's just no choices for people. So I mean, it's just driving up demand. Plus, all of the here, Phoenix, the metro area is kind of like a big, I guess, circumference, like a big metro.
100 miles across.
Yeah. Whereas there, it's just a north and south corridor, right? So it's like maybe I can go from one side to the other, from the mountains to the lake in like 30 minutes. And then I'm going to go from one end of the north end to the south end. It's going to take me like 2.5 hours. So it's just got a weird kind of compact, I guess, group there. If that makes sense. Demand's high, supply's low, and that drives up prices. But it can only stay like this for so long. I mean, rates are low. That's, to me, the same thing as giving out bad loans, right? They're just trying to stimulate the economy. So,
yeah.
So what were we talking about before that? We were talking about getting in the loop, and what was I saying to these guys on the second call? So I started coaching and training with Fearless Agent probably like 10 years ago. And so at first I would just ask them again, hey, with the market being active or the market shifting, have you guys changed your mind or changed your plans? You're thinking of selling, or do you know anyone at the same time that wants to take advantage of this? And then when they started getting used to me, I started changing my script a little bit. Hey, because they recognized my voice, they saw my postcards, they knew who I was, they're on my website or whatever. I would say, hey, listen, I was just calling to ask for a favor. Do you mind? Everyone says, no, well, geez, what depends? This gives me whatever. Like, hey, listen, I appreciate you. I'm expanding my real estate sales business, and I was wondering, if you come across anyone thinking of buying a house or selling a house or thinking of doing something in real estate, would you even feel comfortable sending them my way? They always say yes every single time. And what I learned is you have to validate that you're not going to fuck it up once they send it to you. So you just follow up and say, hey, I appreciate that. I want you to know anyone you send over to me, I'm going to definitely take care of them. I'm going to keep you up to date and make sure these guys get the best, service possible. Is that fair enough? And they say yes. By the way, who can you think of now, maybe in your neighborhood or some friends or church members? And they either give me someone, or usually what happens is like a week or 2 weeks later, all of a sudden I'll get a phone call from them and got a deal.
Yep, love it, dude. So are you then trying to get them, like, offering value, like to get them on a monthly market update email list? It's just all dials, dude.
Oh, well, no, I do get their email list. So here's usually how I wrap. Like, let's say I talk to someone cold call for the first time. Say, hey, listen, I got to get running. I always do a false time restraint. Hey, listen, I got to get running. But, I have a networking program where I stay in touch with owners about 4 to 5 times a year by phone. Would you mind if I stay in touch with you? And they usually say, yeah, why not? And it's like, okay, great. What's your email address? I'll shoot you my contact information. And then at that point, I have their email. And we start emailing them. So, yeah. And my email campaigns are super simple. I think all we send is like our active and pending listings at the time. We don't do anything besides that.
Yep. Love it, dude. Love it, man. So just to get an idea, because in this business, so many people think it takes money to make money, and I'm a big believer in it's just a myth. I know you've got a Mojo system. What does your budget look like, dude, when you're talking about marketing? Because you do a shit ton of deals.
Yeah, I actually this last probably few months I started doing some Facebook ads for the first time. I spend maybe $400 a month there. I'm probably. We're doing about 2,000 mailers a month now to our SOI and our People Farm. And so I'm probably $500 or $600 in mailing postcards. Yeah. With my Mojo account, that's $150 per user. So I think there's 3 of us, so that's $450 a month. That's about it. Honestly, I don't spend, we've got bulk mail rate. It's like 33 cents, including the postcard, to send one postcard to one of our contacts. So it's really, really inexpensive.
So you're at like $1,200 a month, and most agents that are doing your business are spending $7,000-8,000 a month, or $10,000 a month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. I know people in my marketplace spending $2,000 a month on Zillow leads, and I'm doing way more deals than them. Yeah. It's just like, you can deal. Leads are so easy to find. I think if that's one message I could pass to people, leads have no value to me. Leads are not value. Contracts are what are values, right? So to me, if they're not going to sign a contract with me in the next, 7 to 15 days, they're going to go into like an incubation stuff. But I want to be on the phones with either people that are going to send me referrals or people that are going to meet with me and sign in the next 7 to 15 days. Yep. So I'm always looking every day. Who can I get a contract signed with today? Who can I get a contract signed with today?
Yep. Yeah, you get we've kind of entered that phase where now we're seeing real estate agents always bragging about how many leads they're generating, and they're trying to get in the coaching front. And it's like, I generated 10,000 leads last year. I'm like, yeah, but dude, you closed 12 deals, motherfucker. like we're seeing that, and you're right, dude. It's all about dials, appointment set, conversations. And so what are some of those key indicators? Because like on my team, so it's we know how many dials equals a conversation. So, okay, 200 dials, and we were talking about this before, 200 dials. Of the people that we dial, 20% are going to pick up the phone. When they pick up the phone, we're going to set one appointment per 10 conversations that we have where we're asking for the appointment, and 4 appointments equal closed sale. So 200 dials in my team essentially equals 1 deal. So those are the main things that we're tracking. What are you tracking in your business? And also, do you find those numbers to be similar to where you're at?
Yeah, I think, we're not setting 1 out of 10. We're probably closer to 1 out of 20 in appointments. But now I'm talking to a lot more of my SOI and referrals. So I probably have just more conversations. Before, when it was a FSBO, when I really, really worked out, it's 1 out of 5 or 6 people I talk to, you're setting an appointment. Yeah. The challenge with a FSBO, at least in our marketplace, and I've a lot of agents I've talked to that are pretty good at them, you set 10 appointments, you're going to go on like 4 of them, right? Because they're either like pie in the sky, or they just are crazy, they just can't sell, whatever. So you end up canceling, or they cancel on you. I would say I track all those numbers. Number 1 is hours prospected for me. How many hours am I on the phone having conversations with people? And then the second part is obviously contacts, conversations, like number of conversations I'm having. And that's harder to control. You can control the hours dialed, because maybe on a Tuesday you get 50 people on the phone, and then on Wednesday you get like 25. You just can't really control it. You can control your time. The biggest thing to me that I think agents are getting kind of like contactitis. They're like, hey, I got like 100 contacts today. I would say if you can focus on setting 5 appointments, and this is like the minimum, set 5 appointments, go on 3, list 1. That's 52 transactions a year. That's pretty simple. Yeah. You're making $300,000-$400,000 a year at that. So that was what I would boil it down to. And then we got our key metrics, obviously listing sold, buyer sold, closes, paid income. So
yeah. So I was in Nebraska a week ago. I don't know if you know Jeff Cohn, but he's number 1 agent in Omaha, Nebraska. Did 580 deals last year, 100 million. He went from 80 deals to 580 deals a year in a matter of like 3 years with his team. The dude's done some impressive things, but I had the opportunity to shadow his team. I was a guest speaker at their company, their whole entire company, the Berkshire Hathaway there, and I had the opportunity to witness his team, and his team meetings are set up very similar. And everybody up there had to give their commitments for the week. Okay, my commitments for last week were 180 dials, this, and this. Yeah. 50% of the people in the room didn't hit their commitments, right? Which I find about the same in mine, and every single person when they didn't hit their commitment and asked why, it was because they didn't time block. Right? And I find that as well. So, to do the amount of business, and I know that you're very structured. I mean, how are you guys time blocking? How are you personally time blocking? And how are you having your agents time block to make sure that those prospecting tasks don't get missed?
So, it boils down to me, like, to become like really fearless in this business, there's 3 things you got to master: your skills, your schedule, and your systems. You master those, you make a lot of money. Very, very easy. To me, it's okay, what generates my income? And that's appointments and presenting. So very first thing, you ever read that book, Eat That Frog or Eat the Frog? It's
Brian Tracy, eat the frog first or whatever.
Yeah, the biggest frog. So I just boil it down. What is the most important thing for me to do? So that's get on the phone and set appointments. So once I set appointments, everything else falls into place. And then once I realized, okay, I'm spending my first half of the day doing that, and then I'm doing the second half of the day setting going on appointments, like I didn't have time to do anything else. That's when you have to just start leveraging everything off. And so, I do 70, 75 deals a year working Monday through Thursday, and I'm usually home by like 5 o'clock at the latest, right? Yeah. So you can make a lot of money working very little. I like the idea of, you ever heard of the idea called chillionaire? So it's
chillionaire?
Yeah, it's like everyone wants to have a lot of money, which money's cool. Money comes easily and frequently. That's not a problem, but what people are missing is the time. Like that's the one thing that you can't really negotiate more of. You can't get more of. So how are you spending your time? You just got to get crystal clear on it, whether it's building your business or being with your family or whatever. Just get really, really clear on it. When I talk about, we'll talk about this tomorrow too. That's part of what I'm going to train on. Your roots determine your fruits. And so many times in this business or any business in life, what I've noticed is people want to focus on those fruits. And you know what? The listing and the payday, that's the fruit. The root is, okay, how am I going to converse with this guy on the phone? Like when he says this, how am I going to handle that phrase? Or what am I going to say to even talk to my SOI and generate these referrals? So you got to just really focus in your mind, okay, what does this look like? What was my ideal conversation? You've probably seen a lot of people on YouTube. They role play and they're like handling every objection on the planet. And I used to do a lot of that. And you know what I learned is I would get a lot of objections at my appointments and on my phone calls. I'm like, this sucks. I don't want objections. So I started visualizing in my mind, okay, hey, listen, if I came over and obviously, you have an agent, I get that. Because FSBOs always have a friend, right? They always have an agent. Hey, I get that. But if you knew 100% for certain that by doing business with me, 2 things would happen. One is obviously you'd sell your house. The other is you'd end up with significantly more money. In my mind, or when I was role playing with everyone else, I would always visualize them saying, hey, well, I'm going to list with my friend, or hey, we're going to do flat fee or whatever. And then I started role playing in my mind. Yeah, we'd love to hear about it. So now all of a sudden I'm starting to see people saying yes to me more often. And I can't tell you the last time I had to handle objections on a listing appointment, because you just set it up and you visualize it that they're just going to say yes to everything. They're just going to pick up that pen and sign the contract. And so I think that's one thing that's really powerful, is get on your inner game and get visualizing what you want people to say and how you want them to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, paying attention, dude, right? Objections are always a lack of education. And if you educate them correctly, you don't have all those objections. So I love it, dude.
Well, the challenge too, when you're having to always overcome objections, you might win the deal, but you're not going to win the next 10, 15 deals from that person, right? You're going to burn out on them. They're going to talk how you were a terrible agent. And then you're going to have to still drive new business all the time.
When you're swimming against the current too, dude. Yep. It's just freaking mentally draining.
It totally is.
So, dude, no, I dig that, man. And I dig that you're out there creating massive success and having a life, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in the working 100 hours a week and not knowing your wife and kids and not taking care of your health and all of that. So, when you're coaching, because you coach with Fearless Agent, you coach a lot of real estate agents all over the planet. What are you guys? I mean, is that coaching specific to doing the dials, or what are?
Yeah, I mean, our model is set up to, because I came from nothing in this business. I grew up with awesome parents, but they were 9 to 5 working at the utility company or secretary, right? We didn't have the idea of making $100,000. To me was like a lot of money. I didn't think that was realistic. And so once I started really grasping that there was so much more possibility, and my cash flow, my residuals built up, my passive income, I started looking back, okay, where did I start from? And it started with Bob Leffler. I mean, that guy, if he wouldn't have believed in me, I would be freaking working at the utility company. I'd be doing some job that I hate, conforming with everyone else, giving up on their fucking dreams, and just like being part of this shitty ass system that everyone's in, right? And so I thought, okay, if there's something that I can give back, I mean, to me, 3 things that I stand for. Number 1 is create massive value. Number 2 is empower others. And number 3 is invite others to do the same thing. And you can create this cycle of just empowering people and creating value and empowering and creating value. So I said, okay, I want to be able to impact those guys and those gals that start like me. They didn't have any freaking chance to make it in this business. 90% of us fell out in this industry. I wanted to really connect with those guys, and just through social media, I started attracting them and started putting some things together, and we just started launching awesome shit and just helping people out.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Because and I'm not going to mention the coach's name, but I saw a video, and I did a YouTube video about it right away a couple years ago on how most coaches are putting more agents out of business than they're helping. And I'm listening to this video, and this guy's like, okay, if you want to go out there and be successful, man, you gotta get your geo farm, mail to every single house there once a week. You gotta own that whole entire space on Zillow. I'm doing the math on what he's telling people to do. I'm like, that's like 10 G's a month.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you're spitting this down people's throat. They're whipping out the credit card. They get themselves in trouble, not realizing, okay, I'm not going to get a return on this for a year. And you guys are really teaching people how to go out there without any money.
Yeah.
And go out there and do that. So
I mean, you can make money in the first 30 to 60 days in this business. It's not that difficult. Everyone says, hey, save money. You're not getting paid for 6 months. No, you can get paid in the first 30 to 60 days if you play your cards right.
And I know that that's not why you're here to plug the coaching, but I think it's important to plug it here on the show. I've had teammates of mine. That's how I found out about you. I had a teammate of mine, Brian, that's like, dude, you got to check out this Colton cat, right? So he's like, I signed up for his coaching. I'm like, at first I was like, what? You're like on my team, I'm your coach. I felt like he was cheating on me, man. I'm like, what the hell, bro? But then I go on your YouTube channel. I'm like, holy smokes, dude, this dude is legit. And then we had you on the podcast, and I was on your podcast. And, I'm asking you to plug it, not just to plug it, but because I absolutely believe in it, and I've seen the impact it has, and you're the real deal, dude. So how do people listening or watching hear more about the program, learn more about the program?
Yes. So there's 2 places. I mean, obviously you can connect with me on Facebook, but you can go to winningtheinnergame.com. That's my personal website. And if you really want to get into the coaching and training side, go to fearlessagent.com. And it's so our idea with that too is to keep it extremely affordable. I mean, it's $1,000 up front, $97 a month after that for as long as you want to stay in. That gets you all the recorded trainings, gets you on-demand coaching. You can call in the coaching hotline anytime you want, ask. And that was the other thing with coaching too that I didn't like. You have to have this scheduled time every 30 minutes, and like, what about 2 days after the call and you needed some help, right? You went into that listing appointment and you just said something. You're like, why the hell did I say that? Have you ever said something like that? So we wanted to create a platform where these guys could call in, maybe have a 2 or 3 minute question. We could handle it, and boom, they're back on their day. They get all of the listing.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have like office hours essentially.
Pretty much we just say, here's the coaching hotline, call when you need us. And if we can't grab it, we'll just get back to you. Okay. So, and what we found is most agents, they'll have a few questions up front, but if they get on the training calls, they'll get their questions answered. They'll figure it out. They'll learn. I think there's such a power in a group training versus one-on-one. Not that one-on-one's not important, but there's a really power in the group training. And so what they get to up front is all their presentations, listing presentation, buyer presentation, FSBO, a pricing presentation. I mean, we're teaching these guys to get price reductions automatically signed up front for every 2 weeks. These prices are coming down. Plus, we're getting these guys to, you shouldn't say the percentages, but it rhymes with heaven, right, on their percentages. And so you're getting paid 33% more per deal.
That's 7.
So, yeah, I mean, you're getting paid more to work less. And that's really what our goal is to help people just freaking make it in this business.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I love it, man. Love it. So one thing that I really like about you, dude, is not only do you hustle in the business and you do very well for yourself and you're a very giving person. Like, dude, you're like, hey, I'm in town, come on the podcast, drop free podcast. You're coming to speak to my coaching clients for free because you got a big heart and you like to give back, dude. But you also, dude, you just love life. Like, you're one of these guys, and I'm guilty of. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are drivers have a tough time sometimes enjoying life, right? Because you're like I'm pissed off every day because I'm not where I know I'm capable of being, So it's a lot of work to have that gratitude at times. But you're a dude that absolutely soaks up every moment of life. Talk to us about that because it's important.
I don't know if you guys have ever studied with T. Harv Eker or Adam Markell. Adam Markell is a rock star. You should check this guy out. He's the CEO of New Peaks. It's a huge training company. When I met him probably about 4 or 5 years ago, that's where I learned the phrase, I love my life. And so I just started saying that all the time. Someone says, how you doing, Colton? I love my life, man. Thanks for asking. First time I put my feet on the ground in the morning, I love my life. And what I learned is that I was always focused on where I wasn't. And then I started just, okay, where am I? Like, what have I succeeded at? And so now my brain just naturally starts just celebrating life. Have you ever heard of that? It was a website blog or real estate blog, winningagent.com. Okay. I think you, me and someone else that had like the top 12 or 15 YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, I saw that. Yeah.
So Noah Mandel, right? He was the guy that started that. And I don't know him well, but I know we're friends on Facebook. We were chatting last month, and then I saw a post on his, I don't know if it had anything to do with this or not, if he had a post where he had 104-degree temperature. On the 29th or 30th, the dude passed away.
Holy shit.
Dude, he's 44 years old. Just right before that, my neighbor, he was 40 years old. He was the church leader of that area, 5 kids, builder in the community. He woke up one day, had an aortic dissection, and died. Like, just in the morning he was alive. 6-7 hours later, late afternoon, he was dead. And I that has just caught my attention so much the last few years that most people are more afraid of dying. And I think the real fear should be afraid of never living, right? Yeah. You have such an amazing opportunity today, this gift to just go out. And it's like you said before we started, live on this, you just take action, you figure it out as you go. And I think I know more people need to do that. They don't take action. They're paralyzed through fear or through stress. And they're thinking people are going to judge them. And the reality is people are so focused on themselves, they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah. Right? And they're going to, if they do judge, they're going to judge you anyway.
Yeah.
It's people's job to judge. Everybody fucking judges.
Well, and now there's so much information out there, so many new bits of information coming in our brain. They'll forget about it like 20 seconds later, right? They're scrolling down to the next news feed or opening the next app or whatever. And so just go out and just do your thing. Don't worry about what other people are going to do, and just love it, man.
Yep.
You got to enjoy it, man. Life is not worth living if you're not enjoying every single moment of it.
Right. Yep. Totally agree, dude. So, I did a podcast, I don't know, a week or two ago about how Facebook's making you stupid. Yeah, right? Which was basically about learning to shut this off. And I know you put a comment on there, and they're like, we should talk about that on the podcast, dude. And yeah, because people can't detach, man. So let's go into that, dude.
Well, I think, first of all, it's just to voice out to the people listening or watching. You see maybe like me on here, Josh on here, other channels. I know Kevin Ward's got a pretty awesome channel. And it's like they almost think that we're flawless, like that we don't have error. And I think it's just the opposite. I just think we recognize our flaws and we just face them and we just correct them. And so when you posted that, I was like, fuck, that was just for me. I think you guys collaborated, like, we got to make this podcast for Colton. Because it's like you get addicted to it's the way businesses ran now. It's how can you grow your content through the right context, and how can you just produce value, and people just come to you. And if you want to really help people, you're always thinking you want to reach back out to them, right? And so it's kind of hard to shut that off. And I think that it's challenging for real estate agents now because we've got the internet. Everyone thinks the internet's what's going to make them money, and it's just a tool. At the end of the day, it's how do you communicate with people and how do you have relationships. And have you ever read the book Dumbing Us Down? Mm-mm. Oh, you should read this book. Yeah, it was by this John. I think it's John Taylor Gott, JTG. So, anyways, he was New York City and New York State Teacher of the Year. 30 years of teaching school. The whole book pretty much outlines how public school makes America fucking retarded, right? And so just going through that, I started realizing that everything is based on patterns. Our thought patterns, our speech patterns, our financial management patterns, our health and nutrition patterns, relationship patterns. And I thought about this, at what point in our life were we taught about the 3 most important things? That's how to manage your money. We were never taught that. You remember they teach you that? Never, right?
I took 18 months of business school before I dropped out of college, and not one time.
Not one time, right? They never taught you how to have an awesome relationship or an awesome marriage, right? That wasn't taught. They never taught you how to eat properly and to exercise and give yourself.
Follow the food pyramid and you get fat as fuck.
Right? And so, like I said, my parents, my success today is directly proportionate because of them. At the same time, though, I've inherited their patterns, right? Because they did what they knew best. And unfortunately, that's how most of us grow. Our model is our church organization, our public school settings, and our family and neighborhood and friends. And if a guy that's in Compton versus in Hamptons is going to have a completely different programming into the subconscious mind. Not even that, the cellular memory that's passed on from your grandparents to your parents to you. I mean, you're bringing on your great-grandparents' stresses. And so to be able to release that and you don't even know you have it, people are turning more to drugs. They're turning more to alcohol, to food, you know what I mean? Anything to get their mind off of that this is real life. And so, the phone and the computer, that's just increasing the bits of information going in your brain.
Yeah. When I think when you talk about living, it's I saw a quote, I think it's from Gandhi or something. I shared it on Facebook, but it was like, most men just exist. The hardest thing to do is actually, to go out there and live. But yeah, that's what happens, dude. You end up, you're not living, dude. You're just paying attention. You're living through other people's lives vicariously through.
Yeah.
And we haven't released it yet. Another Facebook podcast that I did, but it was basically like, if you spend as much time actually becoming a badass as you do on social media, convincing the world that you are a badass, you'd actually, be a badass. But all that crap too is just what people want to be, right? What they want to show the world. It's not reality, and couldn't agree with you more. And I know for me, man, it's detaching myself completely from that. Like I'll go 2 or 3 days now without even looking at my phone.
That's awesome.
Which is just insane. But yeah, dude, it allows you to live on that much more of a level. So love it, dude. So what do you want to take this shit, dude? Like, where do you want to? I mean, you're doing a lot of different things. You're coaching. You're running your team. I mean, where do you want to take this? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself more going down one path? Because I'm at those crossroads, too. I get asked this all the time because I've got a coaching program. I've got my team that keeps growing, and I get asked like, what's your end game? And I'm like, sometimes I'm torn, man. I love growing the team, but I also love the coaching point and. So where are you at with it?
So honestly, I just want to help people. At the end of the day, I want to help people have better lives, and I want to live life on my own terms at the same time. The challenge with the sales business, which I love selling real estate and love having made a lot of money, I'm not passionate about it, right? And I think that if you say to yourself too many days in a row you're not passionate about something, you got to make some changes. And so that's why I started shifting probably a year and a half ago. How can I monetize social media? How can I create something? That's when I started working, with Fearless Agent. And then, I started working with a lot of other companies doing joint ventures and stuff. And so for me, I want to be able to wake up, fog the mirror, get paid anywhere in the world and just enjoy life. So if I want to be in Costa Rica, if I want to be in Montana, if I want to be in Hawaii, right? And be able to still impact the world wherever I'm at. So you're doing the mastermind the next couple of days, right? In November, I went and studied to be a mastermind facilitator. And you read Think and Grow Rich, obviously, mm-hmm. right? In there, he talks about his invisible cabinet. So I've created my invisible cabinet. Yeah. It's got Tony Robbins in it, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, and Jesus Christ are in my mastermind in my head. And I asked them the question, how can I most impact the world? And what Tony Robbins said to me in my head was amazing. He said, give the gifts that you've been given. And so I'm going to wake up, I'm going to love life, and I'm just going to give the gifts that I've been given, and I know great things are going to turn out. Yep. So,
does Jesus ever get pissed when Tony's dropping F-bombs?
No, man. Yeah. Jesus is kind of just chilled out, and he just always reminds, like, hey, everyone is, like, just needs some love, man. Just everyone has their shit they're dealing with. Everyone has their problems. You just got to help people out no matter where they're at.
The crazy thing about that book, when he first released it, he left that chapter out.
Yeah.
He was too freaked out that the general public wouldn't be able to grasp it and understand it. And then finally released it, and it's pretty gnarly, dude. Yeah, bro. So let's talk about your self-development, dude, because obviously you're dropping a lot of books. You're a student in the game.
Yeah.
But today with all the information out there, it's I almost think people are almost doing too much self-development or the wrong self. They're not studying the right people. And, what is not just what does it look like for you, but how do you choose what path you're going to go down? Who are you going to study? What are you going to study, to make sure that you're studying the right shit?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm just a firm believer that you're going to attract in your life what you need when you're paying attention to it. I'm a big fan of Deepak Chopra and understanding the law of synchrodestiny and really just you creating out of nothing what you don't even realize you need or want. And so I think if you listen to yourself, I'm big into prayer. To me, prayer is huge. And it sounds funny because like when you're praying, you're on your knees. Usually I'm in my office or in my private area praying out loud, talking. You think about it, I'm just talking to myself, right? But I would say God is by far the biggest guidance system for me on this planet. And I think that there's a confusion between self-development and self-help. You know, Jesus never taught self-help. He taught go help others. Yeah. And so you got to look at it as, okay, how can I personally develop to become a leader? And then leaders are going to empower leaders. And we get stuck on this idea of managing things or managing people. And it's not about managing anything. It's about leading others and empowering other people. And so you can break it down and you can know that you're broken into 5 realms: spiritual, mental, physical, social, and financial. And you just ask yourself, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would I rank myself in my social realm? You know, and you're going to say a 7. You ask yourself, what would it take to make it a 10? Well, shit, I haven't gone on a date with my wife in like 4 months, or I haven't given, I haven't sent any thank you cards out to anyone, or I don't remember the last time I hung out with my dad, or whatever it is, or you know what I'm saying? And you start to analyze, okay, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 things that you can change in your life. You pick one thing, you make it a goal to master over the next 7 days. And then you create a new habit. You create the new neural pathway in your brain and you just go for it. You've got to stop and reflect, right? You've got to turn off your phone. You've got to get in some silence. You know, that's the challenge with today's technology. Most people have their phone as their alarm clock. They have it as their camera. They have it as their computer. And the first thing they're waking up is grabbing their phone. And you ever read the book Power of Positive Thinking, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale? Mm-mm. Oh my God, you got to read that book. It's awesome, right? And in there, he talks about, look at how birds wake up in the morning, right? They wake up, kind of stretch, they relax a little bit, take a little nap, they get back up and they're singing and dancing and they go eat. They enjoy the morning, yeah. Right? And so you've got to get up and have that silence in your life and just, because there's so many bits of information. You know, I read in the book Happy for No Reason by Marcy Scheimhoff, the average human has about 60,000 thoughts a day, and 75 to 90% of them are negative. So if you're not taking the time to create the positive in your life, then the negative is naturally going to take over. It's like Napoleon Hill says, time is either your friend or your worst enemy. Yeah. And each day you're living, not taking... And I hate the word control because we really have no fucking control at all. But I think just taking charge of your mindset and your heart and what your intentions are, then everything else is going to take over and just control your whole future. Yeah. And it sucks, you know, how many people today, I've worked with a lot of baby boomers the last several years, right, with no money at all in savings. I mean, these guys are in debt up to their eyes. And unfortunately, most people will get to the ripe old age of retirement or the golden years and they'll be fucking broke. Yep. And they never lived life because they were waiting for the golden years, right? That's when they were going to live life. In today's life. Yeah, so
they get the golden years and like, oh man, this sucks. It's not golden. I mean, the stat right now is only 2% of Americans can retire at the age of 65 without being reliant on their kids and family to take care of them. And that's after retirements and Social Security, and it's a scary place, dude. So speaking of waking up like birds wake up and whatever, I mean, my first thought was, well, the bird doesn't have a damn mortgage and 13 employees that they got to make payroll on, and but I do agree with that, man. I mean, I don't check messages or my phone. I mean, I'm up for 3 hours before I even check anything. And what does that look like for you in the morning, dude? What do you do intentionally, to kind of set yourself up?
Yeah. So to me, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm up and at it, and usually I'm getting a big glass of water, getting myself going, kind of just walking around the house, turning on some lights, checking on my girls. And then I'm going straight to my knees, man. I am getting on my knees by myself. And the first 3 things I'm giving thankful for, I'm usually what I've been into right now is I'm giving thanks for 3 different things about my wife and my 2 girls. Okay. And then from there, here's where prayer fails for people too. They either turn to prayer when they need it most because they haven't been doing it. They've been neglecting it and they're in some challenges. So they're hoping God pulls their shit out right now. And they're always begging. And when you put forth a begging attitude, you're going to get your answer of, hey, dude, you're a beggar, right? God doesn't help beggars. God helps people that help themselves. So one of the things I've learned is through prayer, I'm never asking for anything. I'm just giving thanks for what I have and thanks for the idea of even possibilities, like the fact that this last year to me is huge in understanding the leverage of salespeople with inside of my organization. Before it was always, I got to go get another listing. Now I got to go get another talented person. Right.
Yep.
And just the whole fact that I'm not necessarily where the plan is where the plan's taking me, but hey, I'm grateful. I even am recognizing that's where I got to go. Right. And so to me, I'm spending the first 15, 20 minutes in prayer, just being thankful to be alive. Praying is when I do ask for things, I'm doing kind of like prayer power where I'm shooting prayers at people, right? Just like praying for people that I just think could use some juice for the day. After that, I'm rolling into a meditation and just really hanging on to a mantra for about 20 minutes, just being silent and just letting the cobwebs get out of my mind. From there, I'm usually going downstairs, reading a book, journal writing, just kind of getting ready, eating some food, showering, getting to the office and crank it up. Yeah. Then usually I'll get to the office and put some Skrillex on and really take it to a next level with my energy. I mean, that's the thing about your energy too. You can be like, I call it dignidade serena. That's quiet. I can't even say it in English anymore. I don't know how to say it. So it's basically just quiet dignity, right? And then you can go into a peak state like that, where it's like you are at level 10 and just everything is just like a diesel motor, just boom, 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 boom. So if you can learn to control your emotion, you can do anything.
Yeah. Yep. Love it, dude. Love it. So, in your experience, man, now, I mean, you got a lot of teammates that you're coaching, you got a lot of agents that you're coaching. You know, we've got a 90% failure rate in the first 3 years in this business, right? And then what's it, like an 80% year-over-year turnover rate? What are some of the, maybe top 2-3 mistakes that you think real estate agents are making right out of the gate that are allowing them to be that statistic? Because, and where I'm going with this is, I don't believe it's because they're not committed or they're not, because it's like to go from good or average to greatness, that bridge is overcoming your fear, being uncomfortable. So it's like, dude, they left the corporate world to go get licensed. So that they're willing to cross that bridge. Yeah. But somehow they get either the wrong information, the wrong environment, and things go south. What are some of those commonalities that you see that you feel causes
number
that?
One is they don't fucking talk to enough people. Like if there is one thing that you can do to ensure you're going to make money in real estate, just go talk to a lot of people. I don't care if you don't know them, right? Make a goal, talk to 50 people a day and business will come from it. Start connecting with other cool people. And that's the cool thing about prospecting too. If someone's a dick on the phone or in person, you don't have to talk to them anymore. You can go talk to someone that you like to talk to. So that would be the first thing, is make sure you're talking to as many people as possible. Second thing is get in a training and coaching program. See, there's obviously successful people for a reason, and success leaves clues. So if you want to have some sort of physical, like you have an idea of something that you want to become reality, physical printout in 3D, go find someone that's already done it and follow their system, follow their model, become a master, a student of what they've already accomplished. Don't try and reinvent some other freaking thing. You're going to fall flat on your face. And then the third thing is just master the communication skills. You get great at talking with people, you'll end up just getting deals.
Yep. Love it, dude. So what's your plans for 2016, man? What's your goals?
So yeah, I want to grow few more salespeople. We just had Patty come on. We got Jeremy come and join us. He's leaving his corporate job, making 110 grand a year. And so I just want to keep getting leaders. I want to get 3 more leaders on the team this year. Actually, I'll be stoked if we just did 100 deals. I'm fine with 100 deals working Monday through Thursday. And then as of July 1st this year, my intent and my goal is to be 100% financially free at that point. So if I never want to work again, I don't have to. Right. Not that I won't. I'm always going to produce, but I want to be to that point where I want to go to Costa Rica for 2 or 3 weeks. I can do it. I want to go to Arizona for 3 months. I can do it. Like during December to February, I'd love to be here.
Yeah. Yep. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's for a lot of real estate agents, and we all go through this curve, but like when we first get licensed, it's like we need this deal to close so we can pay our bills. Yeah. But then when you get to the point where you got a bunch of deals closing, the level of service you're able to bring to your clients is so far superior. Yeah. Right? It's because I can sit there and say, dude, we need to bail on this deal. Right. And I don't need that commission. Right. So I can give that right advice. So yeah, like you said, once you get that passive income, I think it just allows us to take it to the next level, what we do, because we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Right? We're doing it because we want to do it, and that. So, what have you guys been doing in Phoenix, dude?
So yeah, flew out here last night. Went down to Scottsdale, downtown Scottsdale.
Yeah, crazy place.
Yeah, it was a little crazy place. Hanging out with you for a little bit this morning. Then I'm gonna go meet Bob in I think it's called Carefree, Arizona.
Okay. So he lives out here.
He lives in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Yeah, he's lived here for 30 years or something.
Yeah.
He's an old guy. And gonna go make some videos there for Fearless Agent, and then gonna go hang out with a guy named James Mishner tonight, and then tomorrow gonna see you at the Mastermind. So that's the plan for the next few
when you
days.
bailing?
So I gotta catch a flight tomorrow afternoon around 2:00 or so.
Just a quickie, dude.
Yep.
Right on, bro. Well, before we wrap this up, man, you got any, this podcast, just like everything that you do, is designed just to go out there and inspire lives and change lives and, hopefully give people the tactical information along with the inspiration to go out there and create an epic life for themselves. So any last words of maybe motivation, inspiration you'd like to leave these cats with?
Just wake up and love life. That's all I can say. Love life.
Yep. Awesome. All right, you guys, we end every podcast with this, but information without implementation is the start of delusion. Information is not power. It's taking that information, implementing it, and taking action on it, which creates power in your world. So, like I said, Colton, and I'm not just blowing smoke because he's here in the office, you guys. I mean, he is, like I said, the most talented guy I've ever met when it comes to FSBOs, expires. I mean, the dude dropped so many great nuggets. Make sure you take something that you've seen today, implement in your business, go watch the other interview that we have with Colton. Like I said, that really takes you into how he got involved in the business, how he built his business. We go deeper into the scripts, exactly what he says with those FSBOs. What's some of the ways to reach out to you, too, dude?
Yeah,
I know you got a YouTube channel where they can see you doing live calls.
Get on my Facebook. I've been doing a lot of live streams lately. Some powerful information there. My website, I got some pretty cool training stuff on there. If you guys want to learn exactly how I did for sell by owners and how I do them, I've got a training product on there. You can get it for like $250.
So is that ColtonLindsay.com?
WinningTheInnerGame.com.
WinningTheInnerGame.com.
If you guys use the promo code WTIG, you get a 25% off on it. So
all right, go do it. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Peace out, and keep kicking ass. We'll talk to you soon.